Folks, if you haven't registered to vote yet or you need to update any of your information, now's the time. The Ohio voting registration deadline is just a week away. And if you want to vote in the May primary, you got to get on it. Megan Hartnett, she joins us in studio. So election officials are saying if you choose to vote absentee, you need to make sure it's sent in early this year.
Jeff, this is the first election with no grace period for those mail-in ballots. Governor Mike DeWine signed a bill that eliminated the 4-day grace period for absentee ballots at the end of last year, meaning now ballots have to be at the Board of Elections by 7:30 p.m. on Election Day. Otherwise, they won't count. Looking ahead to the May primary, election officials say there's one thing voters need to remember.
Deadlines, the deadline.
There's no longer a grace period for absentee ballots.
It is very frustrating and daunting when you have people's ballots get there past that deadline and you can't count them. And I know I'm frustrated for the voters.
Lucas County Board of Elections Director Lavera Scott says the board has already been working with the post office to keep things running smoothly. But she says it is ultimately up to voters to get ballots back in the mail with plenty of time.
Give yourself extra time to get your ballot mailed back or bring it to our facility.
Ballots can also be dropped off at the Board of Elections or put in the ballot box. This is a partisan primary, meaning some of what you see on your ballot depends on your political affiliation.
You will only have candidates on a partisan ballot, and you can choose whatever that party is. But if you do not, you will get an issues-only ballot.
All Lucas County voters will see 2 property tax levies on their ballots, one for 911 services and one for the zoo. Depending on where you live, there may be other issues for you to vote on. Some of the races where voters will have candidates to choose from include Ohio Governor, Ohio Secretary of State, and Ohio District 9. Scott says some of these races don't have an incumbent or are highly contested races, which could bring more people to the polls.
So I do believe that will trigger more people to come out to vote. I hope it triggers people to come out and vote because these elections are important.
Scott says it's a good idea to look at a sample ballot online so you can head to the polls with a plan.
Making, informed decisions. And I think that's very important as part of the voting process.
Scott says there has been a voter registration group bringing in anywhere between 300 and 500 registration applications every 2 weeks in the area. You can check your voting registration and poll location online. If you still need to register to vote, you can do that online or at your Board of Elections. That has to be done by 9 p.m. on April 6th. Reporting in studio, Megan Hartnett, WTOL 11.